Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to tell you about the Ontario Tech Pilot process, which is a new opportunity for engineers and workers in the tech sector. The great news is that you don't need a Canada job offer for this. And you can get your Canada PR very easily, if you are working in one of the targeted NOC codes of Ontario. So, already more than 5,000 candidates have already received their invites from Ontario, and this number is going to keep increasing because the tech sector is in huge demand in Ontario and in all provinces of Canada for that matter. So you don't need to worry, I'll tell you everything you need to know about the tech pilot process, and along with all the requirements, how much it's going to cost you, and the entire step-by-step process to apply, including the list of targeted NOC codes. So if you're among these people who are working these NOC codes, then go ahead and just apply, because you're gonna get an invitation very soon. So without wasting any more time, let's move on directly to the Ontario Tech Pilot process. Hey guys, this is CANUS Immigration. If you want to immigrate to Canada but don't want to spend a lot of money on immigration consultants, you can save your money and find all process instructions for you to apply on your own through this channel. Subscribe now, because all the information provided here is completely free and I answer all your queries in the comments section. Let me start by telling you about the OINP Tech Pilot draws and how they are conducted. OINP Tech draws basically fall under the Human Capital Priority stream, and the main aim of these tech draws is to help employers in the province of Ontario to fulfill their labour requirements in the tech sector. Eligible candidates need to have a valid Express Entry profile since they are picked from the Express Entry pool. I've already made a detailed video on the Ontario Human Capital Priority stream, in which I've listed all the requirements and steps to apply. You'll find that the requirements for the ONP tech draws are similar to the HCP stream requirements. These tech draws fall under the HCP stream. I'll add a link to this process video in the description, so you'll get a better idea about the HCP stream through it. Now let me tell you how these ONP Tech Pilot draws actually work. The ONP officials will constantly be searching for eligible candidates, as I told you, from the existing Express Entry pool. If you meet the HCP stream requirements and you have the necessary work experience from targeted NOC codes, ONP will send you an OIL or a notification of interest in your IRCC account, which is basically your Express Entry account. You will then have 45 days to submit your complete application, along with all your documents, and pay your PNP fee. Your application will then be processed on a priority basis, and if you're accepted, you'll receive a nomination letter and an ONP nomination certificate by email. You can then upload this nomination certificate along with your PR application in your Express Entry profile, and you'll get 600 CRS points for your nomination, which will guarantee you're picked in the very next Express Entry draw. The whole process is completely transparent, and you can check your application at every stage using your ONP e-filing portal. The total cost for this is $1,500 Canadian, and this fee is non-refundable even if your application is unsuccessful. So please make sure that you don't make any mistakes while applying for this pilot. Now that you know the overview, let me tell you about the requirements and who can apply for these tech draws. The first and most important requirement is you should already have an active Express Entry profile, as candidates for the pilot are picked from the Express Entry pool. Kindly note that you'll need your ECA and language test reports in order to create your Express Entry profile, so make sure that you've completed these steps before you create your Express Entry profile. The next most important requirement is you should have at least 1 year of continuous paid full-time work experience in any of the targeted NOC codes. This is the list of targeted NOC codes for the ONP Tech Pilot draws. The next requirement would be your education. You'll need at least a Canadian bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree, or an ECA evaluation of your education from your home country, to prove that your education is equivalent to Canadian education. I made a detailed video on how you can get your ECA from WES, which is the fastest education evaluation service. I'll add a link to this video in the description box. Your next requirement would be a language test. You need a minimum level of CLB7 in English or French in order to get an invitation for OINP tech draws. You can take an IELTS or CELPIP test for English, or a TF or TCF test for French. I made a detailed video with tips for scoring well for your IELTS English test. I'll add a link to this video in the description box as well. Your next requirement would be settlement funds or proof of funds to ensure that you'll be able to take care of yourself and your family members, even if they are not flying to Canada with you. These funds are mainly to ensure that you can sustain yourself and your family members in the initial weeks or months after landing in Canada if you don't get a job right away. For initial expenses like rent, groceries, transportation, etc., you'll need proof of funds similar to the amounts for express entry. As you can see, about 13,000 Canadian dollars if you're applying alone, around 16,000 Canadian dollars if you're applying with your spouse, around 20,000 Canadian dollars if you're applying with a spouse and one child, and around 3,500 Canadian dollars for every additional family member. Kindly note that you don't need these proof of funds if you already have a job offer in hand. The next requirement is that you'll have to declare your intention to live in Ontario after you get your nomination. This is determined by examining your ties to Ontario, which may include the following details. The easiest ways to show your intention to live in Ontario would be proof that you've applied for jobs in Ontario, that you've studied in Ontario, if you've previously visited Ontario on a visit visa, or if you have any professional ties or family members in Ontario who are citizens or PR holders. If you're applying from within Canada, please note that you need to show that you're in Canada legally at the moment, either on a visitor record or a study permit or work permit. You need to make sure that these permits are valid until you get your nomination, if you choose to be assessed through the FSWP or Federal Skilled Worker Program, as the case may be for many of you. You need to make sure that you score at least 67 human factor points based on the 6 selection factors, which are your education, language skills, work experience, age, job offer, and adaptability. Now let me tell you how you can actually apply for the OINP Tech Pilot. The first thing that you'll have to do is get your ECA and language test reports beforehand, because these reports are necessary for express entry profile creation. After that, there's very little for you to do in the initial stages before you receive an NOI from Ontario. All you'll have to do is click on Ontario or all provinces while creating your express entry profile. In the selection boxes, we are asked which province you would like to migrate to. The ONP will then scan the express entry pool for candidates that meet the necessary requirements, and who have work experience in the list of targeted NOC codes that I mentioned before, and send you a NOI if they select your profile. After you receive a NOI or a notification of interest, you can create an application using the ONP e-filing portal, using the detailed steps explained on the ONP website. Kindly note that you get just 45 calendar days after receiving your NOI from OINP to submit all your documents and pay your fee. These are not business days but 45 calendar days, which includes weekends and other holidays. You'll have to create an Ontario EC account by clicking on Submit an Application as explained, after which you'll be redirected to register your profile on the ONP e-filing portal under the Express Entry Human Capital Priority stream, upon which you'll receive a file number and an email confirming your registration to the ONP e-filing portal. Using your registration details, you can then fill out your ONP application and upload all your relevant documents. The file formats and size limits are clearly mentioned here, so make sure that you get all your documents in proper size and the correct format. And make sure that they're all clearly scanned and not blurry even for a little bit. Once you've uploaded your documents, you can even check if you have missed any mandatory questions or documents, or if there are any errors in your application or documents, using the Check for Errors button at the bottom right corner of each page that you will be filling. Your final step now will be paying your 1,500 Canadian dollars application fee, after which you'll receive a confirmation email that ONP has received your Tech Pilot application along with a payment receipt for your ONP fee amount. After you've submitted your application successfully, you can log into your ONP e-filing portal page at any time using your Ontario EC login details to check the status of your application. Your application will now be processed on a priority basis, and if you accept it, you'll receive a nomination letter and an ONP nomination certificate by email. You can then upload this nomination certificate along with your PR application in your Express Entry profile, and you'll get 600 CRS points for your nomination, which will guarantee that you're picked in the very next Express Entry draw. Alright guys, that was all the information I had on the Ontario Tech Pilot process. If you have any doubts about this pilot process, please comment below. I answer everyone at comments, and please do like this video if you think the information was good, and subscribe and hit the bell icon for regular updates on Canadian immigration. All the best for application and have a great day.